I own a property in Florida. Other presidents.
Demand for an.
Not only did you say that
at the forefront of politics.
Our enemy is Trump. He is the enemy. We got to unite. If we're not a united party, we lose to Trump.
On the front lines of activism.
There's certain fights. If we don't engage, they win. This is a fundamental question of who we are.
And delivering your daily dose of comedy.
Donald Trump, when he had his physical, they had his blood pressure, and mine is higher than his. Oh. And the irony is mine is higher because of him.
From the blue wave.
We flipped enough seats to take control of the House. We control the House.
To 2020 and beyond. This is the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters. Monday, October 21st. I'm Dean Obeidallah, as always, here hoping to be your MBFF. I hope you had a good weekend. I hope you had some fun. You were relaxed. You watched the news, maybe. Maybe you didn't watch the news. Maybe you just wanted to get away from it. I get it. I had a nice weekend. I didn't get away from the news. I was on Joy Reid's show Sunday. Unfortunately, she's ill. She wasn't there. My friend Ayman Mohadeen was hosting, did a great job, but wishing Joy the best. She's under the weather. She was so under the weather she couldn't host her own show Sunday. Interestingly, on Joy's show, though, if you watch it every Sunday, the last segment is Winner of the Week, and you predict the winner of the week. I also gave the loser of the week. And the loser of the week, my friends, clearly, without a doubt, are the bed bugs at the Doral Golf Course. Because they were looking forward to next June, because there's slow season in June there. But they were going to get a full place and like a smorgasbord of meat from around the world to feast on. So the bed bugs are the big losers at Doral, and I wish them the best. Sad for the bed bugs to go to bed hungry. What can I tell you, folks? Two big numbers, 379. 379. No, those are not numbers playing in the lottery. That's how many days until Judgment Day. That's how many days till November 3rd, 2020, the most important election of our lives. Without a doubt. Don't have to say it. You know why. And also another, for Democrats in the 2020 field, and we've had many on the show, 105 days. That's until the February 3rd Iowa caucus. That'll be here tomorrow. That's how fast that'll be here. But we're storming along, trying to get more of the presidential candidates to chat with us. Daily reminder, I won't do this every day, but I want to do it because the one thing I do fault the 2020 Democrats is not making sure in unison, or at least every debate, reminding Americans as we sit here today, as you listen to this show, the Trump administration is in federal court, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, arguing to end your coverage and your family's coverage for pre-existing medical conditions, for allowing to put caps back on annual policies for their proceeds each year, to no longer allow your kids to be able to stay in the policy to 26, to drop you when you're sick, and the list goes on, including charging older Americans 5 times younger Americans, having annual caps, no more community pricing, and all of that is because the Trump administration is right now in federal court arguing that the ACA is unconstitutional. And I know we've had that in the Supreme Court, but this is a different tact, and it could prevail. And if that happens, and it ends you and your family's coverage, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter if you love Trump, good luck getting insurance in the future for anything you're being treated for now, especially if you have a chronic condition. You can thank Trump for that. And because there's no backup plan, folks. It's not like he's got a backup to cover it. Done. We all lose that. So periodically I will remind you of that because I think it's so vitally important. It affects all of our lives. So today in the White House, Donald Trump had yet again another meltdown. Just call it Monday at this point because it's just another meltdown. But in his stupidity, in his babble, often he reveals things that are actually important and substantive. And today he was lashing out at the press on various issues. But the big one was that he cannot give himself a no-bid federal contract to hold the G7 summit at his private golf resort, the Doral, which is not doing financially well. He can't do it. He's so mad. Saturday night, he tweeted right away, can't do it. And he blamed, who do you think he blamed? Of course, he blamed the Democrats and the media, saying crazed and irrational hostility. That's what he said on Twitter. In reality, even people like Geraldo Rivera were on Fox News and Judge Napolitano and others going, this is just wrong. It's a violation of the Constitution. Now, the reality is that Trump may have canceled the G7 summit, but Donald Trump and his daughter Ivanka, I can assure you, are still personally profiting from being in the White House. We detailed in great specificity last week Ivanka Trump, and I wrote about it for NBC. Today we'll talk more about Donald Trump and how he's still benefiting and profiting from being in the White House, regardless of the G7 summit, which was just the most brazen attempt. And let's play a couple of clips from Trump. And I don't play too much Trump, but I think it's important because it actually gives us a little insight into the criminal mind of Donald Trump. Here's the first one. Donald Trump talking about giving away his presidential salary and patting himself on the back for that. Clip number 1, please.
I own a property in Florida. I was going to do it at no cost or give it free if I got a ruling, because there's a question as to whether or not you're allowed to give it because it's like a contribution to a country. I'd have to get a ruling. But I would have given it for nothing. It's a lot of money I would have given away. Like I give away my salary. I give away my salary. It's, I guess, close to $450,000. I give it away. Nobody ever said he gives away his salary. Now it comes up because of this. But I give away my presidential salary. They say that no other president has done it. I'm surprised, to be honest with you. They actually say that George Washington may have been the only other president to do. But see whether or not Obama gave up his salary. See whether or not all of the other of your favorites give up their salary. The answer is no. They say it's the only one. They think George Washington did, but they say no other. So I give up. It's a lot of money, $450,000, close to. And I give that up. So I have a place that's in the best location. I'm very good at real estate. Very, very good. Much better than you even understand.
By the way, they who are telling him this are the voices in his head or the animal that lives on his head, because that's all lies. First of all, here's the fact checking quickly. Herbert Hoover, John F. Kennedy both gave away their salaries. They were millionaires. George Washington did not give away salary. That's not the important part. It's quick to fact check. I like that. Second, this really shows Donald Trump's mindset, because think about the syntax and what is going on. He is saying, I wanted to have the event at my golf course. That's what he's saying. And then he adds, and I give away my salary. So what is he arguing there, folks? Connect the dots here. What he is saying in his twisted mind is that because I give away my salary, I should be able to profit from this job. Don't you see? I give away my salary so I can be corrupt. I can wet my beak like a mobster and take a little bit from every deal. That's what he's saying, folks. And others in the media don't get it. They're fact-checking his lies. I get that's fine. Think of what he's saying to you. He's saying to Doral, I was going to have it there. And he knows he was going to bring in revenue in the slow time. There's no disputing June, that's when this event was going to be, is a slow off season in Miami. It's horrifically hot and humid. He was bringing himself revenue. He got it. But what he's saying to everyone is, well, don't fault me. I give away my salary. So let me make a little money on the side like a Jersey mobster. Hey, look, I give away so much to charity. Can I make a little over here, a little wet my beak here and there? That's what he's saying. So that's number one. Second, I got to tell you bluntly, I'll be very blunt here. I wish he would have kept the event at the G7 rally, the G7 summit in there, because think of the timing. It would have been June of next year. And that would have gotten inordinate press coverage. Donald Trump, corruption, self-dealing, and what happens the very next month? The Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee. And those Democrats, whoever our nominee would be, would have it teed up. What a great contrast. Look at last month, Donald Trump at his own having an event at his own golf course. Do you want that corruption anymore? I was actually hoping he would not give in. So I'm actually disappointed he gave in. Because it's not like he understands. Like, just so it's clear, if he flip-flopped because he understood it was a gross violation of the Constitution and a clear conflict of interest, it would be different. I'd say, okay, that's a good thing. It's not what it's about, folks. Because listen, here he goes. Continuing on with the reporters there. He goes on to do a commercial for the Doral, his golf course, in front of everyone. Here we go, clip 2.
I'm very good at real estate. There's Miami, this facility, everybody would have had their own building. Everybody in the G7 would have had their own building. It was so good. Florida loved it. They love economic development. It's not because it's a beautiful place. It's new. It's been totally rebuilt. It's new. Everything's good. Got massive meeting rooms, unlimited for security because it's on, hundreds of acres. Best location, right next to the airport, Miami International, one of the biggest airports in the world. Some people say it's the biggest, but one of the biggest airports in the world. It's only minutes away. It would have been great. But the Democrats went crazy, even though I would have done it free. Saved the country a lot of money. Then they say, oh, but you'll get promotion. Who cares? You don't think I get enough promotion? I get more promotion than any human being that's ever lived. I think I get. I think I would have that. I think I can say that fairly safely. I think I get more promotion than any human being that's ever lived.
So Donald Trump gets more promotion than Jesus Christ. Enjoy that, evangelicals. There you go. That's the John Lennon bigger than Jesus comment by Donald Trump. The reality, as PoliticoFact.com, a nonpartisan fact-checking group, talked about, even if Donald Trump gave away, and he was never offering to let everyone stay for free, they were talking about maybe at cost, because the fact it would have resulted in world leaders from around the nation, hundreds of diplomats, and hundreds of media outlets there, it would have been worldwide free publicity for his golf course. That is actually quantifiably a benefit. There's no doubt, because again, the Doral is not doing well. If it was doing well, it would be a different story. It's not doing well, as articles from March and April, so go back and Google it, from Washington Post. Way before this, it was not doing well then. And it's not doing well. It's documented then. It wasn't now in the heat of this controversy. So you got Donald Trump saying, you might be getting press. Most of it not positive, I got to be honest. Like if the Doral was getting this kind of press, it would be like 90% about bed bugs and 10% about the new putting green on the third hole. And Donald Trump's commercial there is just off the charts. It's the huge hundreds of acres, so close to the airport. It's like it's like a public access commercial you'd see in Jersey, like with come to Pete's House of Wings here on Route 4 in Paramus. Great parking. You got security for 2 to 4 hours. My cousin Vinny watches everything out in the parking lot. That's what it sounded like to me, folks. And then Donald Trump does the ultimate. And this is actually news. And this shows you that Donald Trump, this shows us we know who he is. Just reaffirms it. Donald Trump, I'm going to play this clip. He's going to call the U.S. Constitution, in essence, fake news. I'm not kidding. Let me repeat that before we play it. He is now going to call the U.S. Constitution, in essence, fake news by deeming a part of it phony. Here's clip number 3.
Other presidents, if you look, other presidents were wealthy. Not huge wealth. George Washington was actually considered a very, very rich man at the time. But they ran their businesses. George Washington, they say, had 2 desks. He had a presidential desk and a business desk. I don't think you people with this phony emoluments clause.
The phony emoluments clause. So in essence, he just called the emoluments clause and a part of the Constitution that's been there from day one fake news. It's phony. It's fake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count. So let's talk about this is the important issue. The emoluments clause is not phony. It is Article 1, Section 9, Clause A of the Constitution. And it states the relevant part, no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, except of any present, emolument, which is anything of value, office or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. In English, that means you don't profit from foreign governments when you're president. How's that? I almost did that Gilbert Gottfried. You don't promise. I'm not going to do Gilbert Gottfried, but that's just... So the point is, the framers of the Constitution were starkly, acutely aware of the potential that the president of this new republic would be able to be swayed by financial incentives. In fact, in Federalist number 22, which are just a series of letters to the editor, oddly enough, but now they have this sense they're really important. They were. Federalist number 2, written by Alexander Hamilton, said one of the weak sides of republics among their numerous advantages is that they afford too easy an inlet to foreign corruption. So at the Constitutional Convention, they had seen what happened in Europe. They saw what happened in their new country before, and they had concerns. They talked about Benjamin Franklin getting gifts from King Louis XVI and other leaders, John Jay, and others getting gifts from foreign governments, from kings, from princes. And they were so concerned of undue influence in our system by foreigners, they put this in the Constitution. It is not phony. It is the anti-corruption clause of the Constitution. That's what this is. This is in plain English, the anti-corruption clause of the Constitution. So, of course, Trump doesn't like the anti-corruption clause of the Constitution. The guy's corrupt. But think about this if you broaden this out for a second. If Donald Trump is going to deem something that is so fundamentally important to our founders as phony and fake news, what would stop him from saying anything else in our Constitution is phony or fake news? And let's be blunt. If he says that, his supporters will be like, yes, of course it's fake news. If Donald Trump were to say the 22nd Amendment is fake news, which says a president can't serve more than 2 terms, do you think his supporters would be on board with him? Of course they would be. If Donald Trump were to say the First Amendment, it looks great, but it's actually fake news and phony, and that allowing press to say whatever they want is wrong, I think we have to close down some media outlets. And before people dismiss that as crazy, we've gone through this before. There was a poll in 2018. Nearly 50% of Trump supporters said they would support Trump if he wanted to shutter media outlets for unfair coverage of Donald Trump. So Donald Trump calling this phony and fake news is just a way to tell his base that, first, I'm not making a salary. Second, let me be corrupt. This is all BS anyway. And then making up lies about other presidents and what they did. I will say to you, bluntly, it does not matter about the G7 summit being at Trump's property. This is the most corrupt president we've seen in the modern day, if ever, in terms of making money here. Last week, I went through in great detail Ivanka Trump, how it's not just trademarks from China, but also Japan that were given to her company in the midst of negotiations with her father while in the White House. Beyond that, she's also been involved in negotiations for a policy that was implemented that would help her husband, Jared Kushner, his financial interest. It was so outrageous that a nonpartisan watchdog filed a complaint asking for the Department of Justice to investigate her. Of course, they won't because it's Bill Barr. So you got Ivanka. We can go through that all day, and I did last week, and I have an article for NBCnews.com if you want to see it. I retweeted out again today. But Donald Trump, folks, he has placed, just so it's clear for everyone, he's placed his business holdings, his properties, into a trust. That is true. He is the sole beneficiary of that trust. And he talks to his kids all the time. In fact, he has admitted that his son Eric updates him on the financial matters of Trump Organization. Despite the fact promising he would be completely, when he got almost sworn in January 2017, he would not be involved. He has continued to talk to his kids about their business. And as a result, I have no doubt, nor should you, that he knows about who is staying at his properties. He knows who's spending money there. And that is, again, like tribute to a Roman emperor or a tribute to a low-level mobster. Donald Trump wants he wants respect. You show respect by giving him a little bit of money. Just let him wet his beak. And he could wet it enough places, he's fine. The nonpartisan watchdog Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, CREW, has been done great work. And I should try to get Norm Eisen on, who's one of the founders of it, to talk about their work. They have a great report they did last year about what Trump did in 2018, how much money he's made from different entities. They write, quote, patronizing President Trump's businesses, which results in personal income for the president, has become a key tactic used in influence campaigns that seek to curry favor with the Trump administration. They document that in 2018, are you ready for this? 22 foreign governments have spent money at Trump properties. 22. They could spend money at any property they want. They're foreign government. Do you think it's a coincidence they're picking Trump properties? Of course not. As an example, the Kuwaiti embassy has done their Independence Day event for their Independence Day in February every year. They did it at the Four Seasons and other places. The minute Trump gets elected, where do they move it? They move it to Trump Hotel in D.C. In fact, last year's event, Kellyanne Conway showed up. So not only are they making money, Trump is showing he appreciates the money he's sending by sending Kellyanne Conway to their event. Special interest groups in March 2018, this is not just an example, the American Petroleum Institute, top fossil fuel company, held a 2-day board of directors meeting at Trump Hotel in D.C. They could have done it anywhere. They did it there. Why? Because on day 2, they were going to the White House to meet Trump. So what better way to speak to the president and go, hey, Mr. President, and guess where we're staying? At your hotel. Here's a stunning thing Crew documents, and I wish more cable news media would pick this up. Crew documents, before Trump announced his bid for president in 2015, the total amount spent at his properties on an annual basis by political campaigns or political committees never exceeded $100,000 in a year. Never. Guess what happens since Trump is sworn in? This is stunning. You ready? 150 political committees, from the Republican National Committee to pro-Trump super PACs, have stayed at Trump properties, spending over $5 million in just 2.5 years. So before this, $100,000 in total a year. Now, $5 million in 2.5 years. This is clearly pay for play. This is clearly curry favor with the boss, have events at his property, foreign nations having him at his property. This is what's keeping him afloat. So his $400,000, what a great investment. Give up that and make $5 million on the other side just from your one property? That doesn't even include the numbers for the 22 foreign governments. That doesn't even include the U.S. Air Force staying at the Scotland Hotel. That doesn't include the other documentation they have of the Department of Defense spending over $50,000 in 2018 alone. That does not even include Secret Service. Get ready for the Secret Service. Donald Trump has charged Secret Service in 2.5 years nearly $500,000. That's his salary for using, and you know what he charged him for? Renting golf carts on Trump properties to drive around to protect Donald Trump. He has charged them the same rate you would charge like a person off the street or a member. He has our tax dollars have spent for rental of golf courts rented from Trump to protect Trump. This is off the charts. This is insane. There should be nonstop specials on this crime of this guy. We've never seen this. That's where we are. And the Republicans have emboldened this. There's a bill pending right now in Congress to prohibit by law any U.S. government dollars, any dollars from our treasury going to any Trump property. Absolute ban. Democrats introduced that. Republicans will never get on board. The GOP and Trump are just as corrupt. That's why when it comes to November 3rd, 2020, not only do we have to beat Trump, we have to destroy the GOP. We've got a corruption problem. It's the GOP. And we have to give an enema to the GOP and get rid of their corruption. Might be graphic, but it's got to be said. That's how bad it is. That's where we are right now. I'd love to hear from you about what is your take on this rampant corruption by Donald Trump. So forget the G7. Look at all the other corruption. This is criminality. There's emoluments violations here in violation of our Constitution, which Trump called phony today. So again, Trump thinks the Constitution is fake news. Enjoy that, Republicans. You love to talk about the Constitution. Your leader called the Constitution phony. Love to hear from you, Trumpers. Defend that one. We'll be right back. You're my guest at the top of the hour. We got two great guests tonight. Jamira Burley coming in the next hour, and then Rick Unger, two of our friends in different hours. Look forward to taking your calls, hearing from you. 866-997-4748. 866-997-4748. You're my guest. What's your reaction to Trump's rampant, brazen corruption and criminality right in front of our face? Be right back.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
Voting is the most important civil